Hello and welcome once again. So for my next project I've come across an old model rail magazine going back to January 2006, and in it I found this Linton Cement Works. It was a 3mm scale project by a group in Dorset. So I've had a look at this structure here of a cement plant and thought, I could probably do that. And while I'm not going to make it full size, I've just based it loosely on this, and I've started the construction of the building itself. And as you see, I've taken a slightly different approach to the configuration, with the sloped front and this flat roof, on top of which I'll put one or two tank towers. And there is the blue circle tank sitting partially inside the building, with my 3D printed buffer stop, which wouldn't be there. It just so happened that's the spare piece of track that I had to demonstrate this with. Talking of which, I do have my own 3D printer now, and I'll be producing enough of these for my layout, and it'll be a bit of an adventure. I'll keep you posted on that, but the next step is, once it's finished, I will cover the structure with this corrugated paper. Now, it may be a little bit out of scale, but from a distance it isn't really going to matter, and I'm not a rivet counter, so we'll see how it looks once I've got it cut into sheets and painted. So stay tuned for further developments. Making some progress on the model now. What I did was I took a piece of card just a little bit larger than the size of the flat roof, and I cut a hole in it, and this was the most difficult part. I managed to saw through the tube, or this cardboard tube, and then I had to hack away at cutting a circle on this cardboard. It was very hard. I think my blade was part of the problem, but it was just tough going. And I've added in a couple of tie members here just to hold it together, and I may end up at the end of it cutting out this white part in the bottom and letting the track run all the way through. So I put one little door on there, and another door here from a different kit. Now, I'm not going to be using this corrugated cardboard because it's just so much out of scale. It would just look very odd if I put that on. So I have a sheet of Slater's corrugated metal, and I'll try and use that. So I have this ready, and then that piece there, so that'll look pretty good once it's finished. And this material here it's quite stiff, hard, and you get this from the back of foolscap paper and different other locations. It's a good material, easy to cut in one direction but difficult to cut in a circle. Anyway, I think it's coming along and quite happy with that, and it will fill up a little corner somewhere on the layout. In terms of painting, I'm going to get this a lighter shade of grey, and I'll put the blue circle logo on here and maybe on this wall here. When I first started doing this build, I thought, well, maybe I should get some corrugated iron paper that had a bit of rust on it, but I found out once I was sort of halfway through applying it, it was pretty heavily rusted, and at that point I made a decision to download the painted panel sheet, and I think this is turning out to be so much better. I've left a few panels, as you can see, with rust on them, and it is a much more realistic effect. So what I'll end up doing next, I'll use black paper or card to go over the roof with an opening in it, slip it over the top of the tank, and then when I've got all that done, I will get some pastel powders and I'll rub them on to try and get more of a staining effect. But the little building's coming along, quite happy with it, but you know, I've learned a number of things about scratch building things like this, and yeah, so on to the next step. So I decided not to cover it with the black sanding paper because I wasn't sure how to finish it off, and thought it would look just as good and maybe even better if I used the same corrugated sheeting, and then I just lined it with a curb cut out of a 2mm card and painted it, and then added a bit of the rusted corrugations and a few odds and ends on the top. I think that worked out. I'm at the point now where I think the build is finished. I added a little doghouse on the top, and I put together some little bits and pieces here and a vent, and I've added in a pipe and indicated some welding seams. And I think for the most part it's finished, and I can start with the application of some pastel white chalk that will suggest the dust around the facility. And you know, I've scraped some off there, and I've added in the baby powder to make it a little bit smoother in the application. And then I'm going to have to fix it, and I'm not sure where my fixative is, but I'll be using a matte finish spray. So just hold on and I'll get started on that. Now, this should be done in a well vented area. In my particular case, I'm doing it in the basement. Probably should exercise a little bit more care, but I think that will suffice. You can see the dusting has a nice effect. So all in all, I'm quite happy with this build. I might try to add a little bit of accessories here and there, but for the most part, small build of a cement plant is complete, and it will find its way in an appropriate location on the layout. So I hope you enjoyed this build. Thanks for watching, and remember to give me a big thumbs up, ring that bell and subscribe, because it does encourage me to do more. And as I said, some of you might say, oh no Charlie, don't do that. Bye for now.